I think strategics can play a very valuable role early. There's an inherent validation. If the work you're doing is attractive to a strategic, it probably means it's fundamentally interesting as a disruptor of some business they're in. It probably fundamentally means it could be big. So there's some inherent validation in that strategic attention. One thing I think the early company has to balance is that validation with what kind of help might I be able to get from the strategic? Can the strategic help me be more efficient in a tissue assay at a preclinical stage, or even the design of a preclinical trial? A regulatory strategy. Are there efficiencies that a big company might recognize where a little company might think they're in some methodical process? There's always been a concern that the big company mentality overwhelms the little company agility, speed, cost effectiveness, and I think just recognizing that there is some risk of that, I think it puts the right tone on the board meetings, the update meetings, the exchange of information. I think especially in Silicon Valley, I think there's a very sophisticated legal, accounting, HR, the whole community here, I think, has been used to this for 40 or 50 years now. So I think there's some residual fear of getting squashed by the big company, or the big company takes our technology and runs away with it. I just think, I don't see that as a big issue anymore. I think people have figured out how to work together legally, financially, people management-wise, in a way that works well for all of us right now. But I think it's up to the early company really. It's a two-way street. It's not, we have interesting stuff that a big company wants. We have interesting work to do that a big company ought to be able to help on, or at least give some good guidelines about how to do it efficiently. I mentioned some things like clinical trial design, assays, strategies in reimbursement, and how to deal with various elements of the story. We will not do that work, so we're not going to jump in and write your PMA or your NDA. We do have people whose lives are spent doing some of the things that you will do once. We have some people in our company who have done that forever, are incredibly expert at those things. And so what our thought is that they're not going to do the work. They are available to step in. We can sign a CDA. It's generally most easy if your company's working in a white space or an area where we don't have a presence and there is no conflict. If there is the risk of conflict, we can sign CDAs and protect the interchange. And people will usually engage for a smaller amount of time or episodically to just look in and say, hey, here's what it looks like you're doing. We would do it a little differently. We would check with this authority on the outside before we move that down the road. And it's a little bit informal right now. We're likely to formalize that process, process of engagement a little bit. But right now it's more of a friendly, we've got a problem, a material science problem, and we know we've got a whole polymer team inside of our company who can address that kind of cracking or that kind of failure of the threads, whatever the issue might be. So in general, it's an ad hoc, sign a CDA, let's see if it's something we could give some advice on, and then we usually will just give some advice and get you to the right people and hopefully get you back on your way to success.